Hi, welcome back to Midweek Encouragement. So glad that you could join us again here at First Church of God. I want to share with you some encouraging words today, but I want you to understand something. Being an encourager isn't always easy for me because sometimes, believe it or not, I get a little down. I get a little discouraged. I get a little sad. It's a battle that we all face. And I've often said that there are some people who would complain if their ice cream was cold. You know them? Yeah, they're the same people that would complain if they didn't have something to complain about. Some people are they're complainers. And they say that the average person complains 15 to 30 times a day. And they often don't even realize that they are complaining. So I hope that you're not a person that is above average in the complaint department. If you are, don't pat yourself on the back. It's not something to be proud of. Complaining is not a healthy habit. In fact, complaining is going to make you feel less friendly. It makes you less friendly. It makes it so people do not want to be around you. It's almost like trying to hug a porcupine or something, or a skunk. Woo, that wouldn't be good. But people that complain, they're unfriendly, they're unhappy, they don't feel well, they are weak, and it shrinks. Being complaining causes our brain to shrink, and it makes it so it's harder to be creative and able to solve problems. Complaining is toxic to the workplace. And when we complain, we are angry about something, and anger causes us to stop using that reasoning part of our brain. When we are angry or we raise our voice or both, it causes the reasoning part of our brain to stop working. And as I often say, the only people that listen when we're yelling at each other are the neighbors. Complaining is not only toxic, but it's also contagious. You get into a group and somebody complains, next thing you know, everybody around you is complaining. It spreads through a group faster than any sickness that you can think of. I heard about this grandpa that fell asleep on the couch and had a mustache. He had some ornery grandkids, and they came and they rubbed a little bit of Limburger cheese on his mustache. He woke up and he goes, "Man, this room smells." Then he goes in another room. "Wow, this room smells." Every room in the house smelled. Then he went outside and he took a big inhale and he says, "Wow, the whole world smells." So often the problem is really just under our nose, or maybe it's a few inches higher in our head. It's okay to complain for a little bit from time to time, but some people don't do it a little bit. They do it a lot of bit. A man by the name of Will Bowen of Complaint Free Challenge said, "I joke that complaining is like bad breath. You notice it when it comes out of somebody else's mouth, but not when it comes out of your own." If you place a rubber band around your wrist in the morning, let's say you put a rubber band around your right wrist, and the first time you complained, you switched it over to your left wrist. How long would your rubber band stay on your right wrist before you had to switch it over? Now, I'm not trying to make it so you abuse yourself snapping a rubber band every time you complain, but I think that we need to be aware of how often we are complaining. I think those who complain the most are the least generous of their time, talent, treasure, and touch. And those who are most generous with their time, talent, treasure, and touch are the most successful and happy people that you will ever meet. I think the opposite of complaining is gratitude. Complaining is always about what is wrong and what is missing. Gratitude is always about what is present and what is working. Philippians chapter 2, and I don't think this is just a verse. I think this is a commandment. It says, Philippians chapter 2, verse 14 and 15 says, "Do everything, everything." That means everything. "Without complaining or arguing, so that no one can criticize you. Live clean, innocent lives as children of God, shining like bright lights in the world full of crooked and perverse people." Shining like bright lights. Bright lights don't need spotlights, do they? In a scientific study, it was found that when you practice gratitude, you will be friendlier, happier, healthier, tougher, and wiser. And I think that we might add, you'll be more social. When we are not social, when we hide in our house, when we isolate from the rest of the world, it is not healthy, nor is it what God intended for us to be. During creation, at the end of each and every day, we read, God looked and said, it was good. It was good. It was good. He made the animals. It was good. He made the seas. It was good. Made the birds. It was good. Everything was good. And then he makes man, and he says, it's not good for man to be alone. So we go from good to not good, and so it's not good for us to be alone. So God made a suitable helpmate. We are made for connection. Hebrews 10:25 says, and let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. We may not be able to physically be together, but I don't think we're too far from somebody that has a cell phone or a home phone or some other way that we can communicate with them. And sometimes we can communicate with somebody we don't even know with just a smile. Sometimes our communication doesn't need to be verbal. And sometimes we just need each other so we can see how beautiful we've got it. We need each other, and we need to be able to encourage each other. We need to stop focusing on what is wrong and start looking at what is right, because there's a lot more right than wrong. If I open the hood of my car and you come up and say, what's wrong? Is something wrong? Because I've got a whole lot of things under that hood that are going right. Overthinking is always associated with negative thoughts, and we never say, I have way too many positive thoughts. I have way too much encouragement. No, it's always the opposite. But we can, if we will focus on what God wants us to focus on. We need to focus on God. We need to focus on others. We need to focus on ourselves. So why do we complain? Is it that we are trying to get others to feel sorry for us, or is it we want someone else to feel the pain that we are in? Most everyone wants to be wanted. Well, except for those guys whose pictures are on the post office wall. Our attitude is like our attire. We get up and we pick our attitude. You pick the attitude that you're going to put on each and every day. And sometimes people may try to change what you're wearing, but your attitude will determine your altitude. Complaining to and with others will not improve the situation. We need to look for the good in everything. If I wake up and my shoelace doesn't break, that's something good. Have you ever had a shoelace break? If I get to eat, that's something good. I have feet to walk with, and I don't have a lot of pain in my feet. That's good. If you feel pain, it's a sign that you're still alive. You have the power within you to change the surroundings. That guy, Will Bowen of the No Complaining, says, try not to throw mud on top of a mud pile. It doesn't need help making the pile it doesn't help making the pile any smaller. Let me say that again. Try not to throw mud on top of a mud pile. It doesn't really help make the pile any smaller. When you're tempted to complain, take a thank you walk. And start just thinking of the things that you're thankful for. And in fact, start writing the things down that you're thankful for. Walk through your house, around your neighborhood, or even just make a mental walk. If you're having trouble sleeping at night, start talking to yourself about things that you're thankful for. Thank God for them. And while you're going, think of the things that you're thankful for, and you will find we have a lot more things to be thankful for than to complain about. Now, if there's something I want to complain about, is that I don't get to sit here with you. May you have a blessed day in everything that you do. Bye-bye.